Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into my 6th Summer 2025 update from GavsWeatherVids. So here we go again, trying to bring you yet more summer data. We are up to the 6th installment of the countdown to Summer 2025, and I shall get on with it for you in a moment. Just say that first video today, the 6 AM UK weather forecast, going to be live at 6 PM with your 10 to 14 day, and that is going to include all of the regular features. So it'll be like everything we do in a regular 10 to 14 day. The only difference is that we're going to be live streaming it rather than doing it as a video upload, but of course after stream people will be able to watch it back as a video. I will include lots of long range in that as well, so we're going to go for the entire Copernicus suite of models, and that's to come at 6 PM. I can't wait to get started on that one. I'll see you a little bit later on. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Got the 6th summer update to do first of all. So thank you, Shadow Richard, for our amazing summer update gift. Love it, Rich. Thank you so much to Ricardo. So much to Richard Shaw for our summer updates gift. Thank you so much, my friend. And also, I'm going to say hello, thanks so much to Shrine Brim sorting out our theme this week, because I'm a little bit stumped this week about what we're going to do, but Shrine came up with a nice little theme for us, so thanks so much. Well, thank you so much to Shrine for that, Shrine Brew, and for getting the years together. Right, let's crack on then. So, hashtag Team Gab, amazing. So, this update is going to be looking, and it's going to be a little short update as well, nice little short update. It's going to be looking at summers following warm and dry first halves to April. Now, we might be letting the cat out of the bag with a lot of these years for when we look at the entirety of the April data when we get into the middle of, when we get into early May, I should say. But it looks like we could have a month or two halves here, so it'll be interesting how many years we've got for this are going to, carry through to the overall April data that we'll be doing in like 3 or 4 weeks' time. Anyway, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. So we see that the central temperature is around 10 degrees for April 2025 as of the 11th of April. So, obviously, we're looking at a notably warm first 10 days, if not warm first half to April. At the same time, exceptionally dry as well. I think it's also been exceptionally sunny, but not looking at sunshine for this one. But exceptionally dry. So, it's hard to make it out, but there's actually a blue line there that's like flatlining along the bottom. No measurable rate at all for the first 10 days of April across large portions of England, whereas look how far below average, which is this line, we currently are. So obviously this is one of the warmest and driest, or mildest and driest sort of first 10 days, if not first halves of April anyway. So we are going to be looking at summers following the warmest and driest first halves to April since 1950, and the first one we're starting off with is 1957. So excuse me, everyone. Summer of video or live stream about a cough. The summer of 1957 is front-loaded. Overall, has a mid-Atlantic ridge going up towards Greenland and has a trough of low to our south and east, and that brings the wind in from like a northerly direction. No, you don't get from that, but it does have a very warm June. The hottest weather of the summer is in June, actually, and then it gradually goes down the tubes, culminating in a pretty poor August and September combination. Long gap then to 1981. So the summer of 1981 has a mid-Atlantic ridge and a trough of low pressure to the northeast, bring the wind in from the northwest. It's a cool and dry summer, which is rather a unusual combination. If it's a dry summer, it's normally hot, and if it's cool summer, it's normally wet. But you can get variations of the theme. Now, this summer is cool and dry. Does have wet weather at times, of course. Some pretty impressive thunderstorms occur in July 1981, I think. And August is the best of the summer with reasonably warm and dry, dryish, sort of warmish, dryish sort of month. Notably, this, of course, has a very cold end to April. So the first half of April 1981 is mostly dry and warm, but the second half of the month does actually turn much colder. There is a very rare and unusual late April snowstorm across lowland southern England. Interesting. Then we've got 1995. Well, this is a classic long, hot summer with this big area of high pressure stationary over Western Europe. It's kind of like a daddy. It's not quite as hot as 1976, but I think it is actually a drier summer than 1976. Large portions of England, anyway, and I think some parts of Scotland have no measurable rain, or hardly any measurable rain, throughout the entire 3 months of this summer, June, July, and August. It has quite a chilly start through the first half of June, but when it starts getting hot in the third week of July, the rest of the summer is just on it. And keeps the pedal to the metal, if you like. It's a bit of a forgotten summer. It's not as remembered, as like, I don't know, 76 or 2002, 2018 and whatnot. Bit of a forgotten summer, but it's kind of like my generation's long, hot summer, really. I remember this summer when I was about 17, 18. And it was a ferociously hot and very, very dry summer much of the time. Classic hot summer there. Then we've got 1997. Interesting that both 95 and 97 have hot August. This one with high pressure over Scandinavia, bringing the wind in from the east. It starts off really poor with a very wet and also quite cool June. Gradually gets warm through July, has a hot August, but a very thundery August as well. Note this trough of low pressure to the south, producing lots of thunderstorms into southern parts of the country. So a hot and thundery, steamy August in 97. 2002 has a bit of everything. It's a pretty mixed summer with quite a lot of low pressure through the west of Europe. It has one hot spell occurring at the end of June into the start of July. Otherwise, it's a mixed summer, but also regularly warm with above average temperatures, particularly so, I think, at night. Then we've got summer 2003. This is another hot August. It's a bit of a trend here for August. Be the best of the summer. We'll find out at the end when we put all the years together. But 2003, again, drawing up those southerly winds. So dry and generally pretty hot throughout most of the summer. On off through June and July, heat waves. And then, it really sort of locks in through the first half of August, which is very, very hot. And it does have an 18 Celsius CET August, and we'd had to wait from 2003 to 2022, 19 years, before we'd have another 18 Celsius CET August. Now, we've got the complete opposite of something we've just been talking about here with 2007. Oh dear. Blocking area of high pressure towards Greenland and Iceland, and this stationary trough underneath it. A cold and wet summer with flooding rains, especially through June and July. Starts at the end of May. Actually, the late spring bank holiday weekend is where we get our first sort of massive flooding rain, and then it's just on and off throughout the rest of summer. August is a little bit better, but nothing much to get excited about. Overall, that's an atrocious summer, and certainly one of the worst summers of my lifetime, but I'm 47 now. And then we've got another pretty poor summer. It's 2011, following a warm and dry first after April, with blocking up to the north, low pressure underneath it. So that's a cool mix. I mean, perhaps looks worse than it is in terms of, you look at that anomaly and think that it's a very wet summer. Well, I don't think it's a notably wet summer, but it was often mixed, often cool, and just not very exciting. Summer in 2011 happened in April. 2014 shows up next. This is a really bizarre summer with blocking up to the north and low pressure south. So the analog looks quite straightforward, but what you don't get from that is that we have a 17 Celsius CET July, followed by a 14 Celsius, I think, CET August. So it's the coldest or coolest August since 1993. Following a very warm July, so really strange summer, very topsy-turvy and all sorts going on with that one. 2015 is up next. This is overall quite a cool summer, but does have one very intense heat spike at the beginning of July. I think the first day of July gets up to 37 degrees. In fact, it's like the first summer of a series of summer that has these heat spikes that we've come to know and either love or endure, depending on your point of view. So many of the summers since 2015 have had those sort of heat spikes, but 2015 was the first one, I think, that did that. Had a very brief push up in the temperature, going up to about 37 degrees on the 1st of July, and then tumbling back down again. But overall, it's a pretty mixed summer and often quite cool, actually. 2017 is a classic front-loaded summer with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. So the best spell of this summer is in the earlier front part of the summer in June, and then it gets cooler and more unsettled as it goes on. Quite a cool and unsettled August. 2020 is a summer with a little bit of everything. Low pressure through there, higher pressure out there. So, as I say, everything's thrown in, and the kitchen sink too in the summer of 2020 has some impressive heat spikes, has some very cool, notably cool weather, has some quite stormy weather, even particularly later on in August. I think there's a couple of named storms, has some very wet weather, has drier periods, so it's one of those summers that has something to offer for everyone. Whatever sort of weather you like is included in the summer of 2020, other than snow, obviously. Right, well, let's put all that together then. So this is how all June's combined are looking, following warm and dry first half to April. So, lower pressure heading in from off the Atlantic there, blocking up to the north. Looks like quite an unsettled signal for those Junes. Again, we're going to be years that are deviating. So, 1957, the warmest, driest weather of that summer was actually in June. 1995 wasn't particularly unsettled, but was a little bit on the cool side. Of course, 2017, the best of that summer, similar to 1957, happened in June. So, there'll be years that deviate, but overall looks a bit mixed for the Junes. And then the Julys also look quite mixed as well, with a trough of low over top of the country. Oh, not much more to say about that. Again, there could be deviations. 1995 was a hot and dry July, for example. And then we've got all August combined, and this is clearly the best start. I mean, I'm sure you picked that up as we was going through those years, how many of them had warm, dry to hot August. So this with a big area of high pressure over and to the north of UK and Ireland, and bringing those winds in from the east. Lots of dry and very warm, often hot weather in many of these Augusts. We've got 1995, got 1997, that was wet, but was very warm. We've got 2003. 1981, also down there, was the best of that summer as well in August. Of course, there is that deviate from that too. So let's try and pick out that one. 2017 was quite cool and wet in August. Though you're always going to get exceptions to the rule, but overall August comes out the best. And this is how all summers combined are looking, following a notably warm and dry first half to April. And we see higher pressure up to the north with lower pressure down to the south. Winds tend to be in from the east, so quite an easy summer sort of favoured. And again, probably, that's indicative, normally I should say, is indicative of a summer that's getting more settled as it goes along, I would think. And it's going to be very interesting, isn't it, to see how many of those years carry through to the overall April data, when we do summers following whatever April in terms of warm and dry weather, or warm and wet weather, if we have a very wet second half above, etc. Now, how many of those years will follow through? It'll be interesting to see. Maybe we'll end up doing Aprils, but contrast, very dry and warm first half, very wet, cooler second half, something like that. We'll see how the stats come out when we get to the beginning of May. Anyway, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please do like, share, and subscribe. Make sure it's open for doing that. And make sure you drop a comment. Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos and content. And don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get them to subscribe too. And thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Thank you so much. Love it. So much, everyone. Right, okay, we're done. Thank you so much to Shryan, and thank you so much to Richard. I love it, Rick. Cops coming for Gav. Thank you so much, my friend. We'll end it there, then. So thanks so much, #TeamGav, for all the help with this and all of the summer updates. And we're going to be live at 6 p.m. So if you've got any thoughts about this summer update, let me know in the live chat on the live stream. We're going to be doing a 10 to 14 day. We'll do everything that we do in a regular like a 10 to 14 day, and as well as all of that, we will include, of course, plenty of the long range as well as we go through the Copernicus suite of long range models. Right, well, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever you're watching the video. I'll end it there for this one. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.